Today we're going to try and do some question solving, and we will do the question solving on from the paper 2012, Zone B. And question the question number that we're going to do is an offer and acceptance question, and it's question number 1. It's question number 1. So we're doing question number 1 from 2012, Zone B.
Yes. There is only one and we.
Yes. Yes. So do you have the questions with you? No, you don't have the questions.
You're solving question paper?
Yes.
It's a lot to be done.
Okay. So Apnanar, if you don't have the question paper, do you want me to dictate the question and you can write down the summary of the question? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. So what is exactly the question? Let's try and do this. This is an offer and acceptance question. The first thing it says is that on June 5th, Alvin. Alright, so on June 5th, Alvin wrote to Bob offering to sell 500 bags of sand at 20 pounds per bag. So A wrote to B and said, I want to sell 500 bags of sand at 20 pounds per bag. On 7th June, B posted a reply. B posted a reply, yes, in which he accepted A's offer, but added if he did not hear to the contrary, then he would assume that the price includes delivery. Okay, so he accepted the offer, but he said that unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to assume that the price includes delivery. The following morning, which is June 8th, before Bob's letter arrived at Alvin's office, Alvin read a posting on the internet which stated that the price of sand was about to fall, and he immediately sent an email to Bob stating our price of 20 pounds includes delivery. So on June 8th, before he received B's reply, A sees that the price of sand is falling. And in order to do something about it, he posts a letter stating that my price includes delivery. Clear, everyone? Price includes delivery, and this is by email. We're doing May 2012 Zone B number 1. So we're just solving the question. If you have the question paper, that's great, or else you're just writing down the questions. Do you have the question paper?
No.
Shabman, you don't have the question paper?
Oh, Miss Basha, hang. So
let's just write down the, continue writing down the question. So, on receiving Alvin's email at 11 a.m. on June 8th, D posted a letter to A confirming his acceptance. So, on June 8th, yes, on June 8th, 11 a.m., B posted a letter to B. B posted a letter of acceptance. By midday, however, B had also seen the posting on the internet, which indicated that the sand prices were about to fall, and having considered the matter, sent an email to A stating that decline your offer of sand. So midday, 12 p.m., he sent an email saying, I decline your offer. So the price of sand fell from 20 to 15, and now A says there is a valid contract, and B says there is not a valid contract. So you basically have to decide whether there's a contract or not. Let me just summarize the entire thing that happened to you. On June 5th, A sent a letter to B offering to sell 500 bags of sand at 20 pounds. On June 7th, B replied, that I accept Alvin's offer, but if he did not hear to the contrary, he's going to assume that the price includes delivery. And this is by post. Okay, it's a letter. Then on June 8th, before he receives the letter from B, A reads it on the internet that the price of sand is supposed to fall. So he immediately writes to B, my price includes delivery, and this is by email. When on June 8th, 11 a.m., B gets the email from A, he actually posts a letter of acceptance. But by 12 p.m., he has also read the posting on the internet that the price is supposed to fall, and he declines the offer by email. Now you have to discuss whether there is a valid contract between A and B. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes time to try and find out the issues in the question. Once you have figured out the issues, I'm going to tell you whether you're right or not. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else? Did A what? Yes, on June 8th. He emailed B and said that my price includes delivery. Before he received this letter. Before he received the letter. Letter পাওয়ার আগেই ও text ও email করে বলে দিয়েছে যে my price includes delivery. Quality sound. Come in. Do you have the question paper? Okay, come in. Do you have a smartphone?
Yes, I do.
Give me your phone.
It's up in my
Keyboard.
cell phone.
Just take a picture or a screenshot of this.
Do you have it over there?
Yeah, I have the question. Just give it to me. I'll take a picture. There's a lot of technological things going on. যে কোনো জায়গায় প্রেস করলে আসবে
জি জি।
Anyone else wants to? I'll just press anywhere.
No, this is the video thing.
Wow, what do you do with your phone?
I dropped it
How many times?
just once
On what?
on the staircase.
Okay. That's a very interesting situation. Anyone else? Okay, you're done reading the question. All right, I'm just going to give you 5 minutes to read the question and try and see how you're going to answer this question. I think it's time we actually move on to. I think it's time to actually move on to answering questions because there's no point in having knowledge if you don't know how to answer questions. So, and if you're watching it online, then you should have the copy and try and solve it with us. That was for them.
Because first actually partly later he wants to deliver, right?
Yeah.
Even though I think even after noticing that the price had fallen.
No, but he did not notice. He did not notice. When he accepted it, he did not notice it. Okay, shall we get started with it? It's pretty simple, so we shouldn't have to go on it. So the general rule, how to answer an offer and acceptance question. Usually an offer and acceptance question would usually ask you whether there is a contract between the parties. And when is there a contract between the parties?
When there is an offer.
When there is an offer and acceptance. So if you look into the mirror image rule of formation of contract, what does it say? That there must be a clear and unequivocal offer matched by an equally clear and unequivocal acceptance. So in order to find whether there is an contract between A and B, we need to basically figure out whether we can find a clear offer, which is then matched by a clear acceptance. So how are we going to introduce this answer? What is going to be the introduction of this answer? You're going to write, this question raises issues about the formation of contract between A and B. This question raises issues about formation of contract between A and B. Stop. The mirror image rule of contractual formation. The mirror image rule of contractual formation states that the mirror image rule of contractual formation states that there is a valid contract. There is a valid contract.
Can you repeat that?
The mirror image rule of contractual formation states that there is a valid contract when there is a clear and unequivocal offer. When there is a clear and unequivocal offer matched by an equally clear and unequivocal acceptance. Full stop. Each of these issues will be dealt with chronologically or in turn, whichever one you want to write. Okay, so that's our introduction. Now we have to find an offer and an acceptance in our facts. That's our goal. So let's deal with one line at a time. So on 5th June, A wrote to B offering to sell 500 bags of sand at £20 per bag. What is this? Why is it an offer? Because it's mentioning a price, it's giving you all the details. So it seems to be an offer. So you should write from the very beginning that in relation to A's letter to B on June 5th, this is most likely an offer. Then you define what is an offer and you talk about the fact that this is an offer because from the language it looks like an offer, it has specific terms, and it seems like A has the intention to be bound in a contractual obligation if this is accepted by B.
You asked a question. One offer acceptance of the money.
Okay. Then what happened was on June 7th, B posted a reply in which he accepted Alvin's offer, but added that if he did not hear to the contrary, you would assume that the price included delivery. Okay? What's going on here? I mean, what is this?
That's an acceptance.
That's an acceptance.
It can be set to
It is an acceptance?
No, it's counter.
It shouldn't be a counter.
Why shouldn't it be a counter?
It's not changing the term of the contract materially. Right?
Okay. You don't think it's changing the term of the contract materially?
No.
Why do you think it's not an acceptance? Who said it was a counter offer? Yes. Why do you think it's not an acceptance? কিভাবে? স্পেসিফিক আর এক্সট্রা মানি লাগতে পারে। তো এটা এরকম হতে পারে যে আমাদের এখনকার প্রাইস হচ্ছে £20 per bag, ওকে? বাট এটা হতে পারে যে প্লাস এটার সাথে ডেলিভারি চার্জেস প্লাস £10 আছে। তার মানে কি হবে? If you hold it like that, if there was a delivery charge of £10 per bag, isn't the term of the contract changing by this idea that I'm only going to accept this offer if I assume that there is the price actually includes delivery? So isn't it substantially changing the terms of the contract?
Yeah.
So isn't it a counter offer? Right. So in relation to B's offer, B's correspondence, well, it looks like an acceptance, and it's stated in your question that he accepted the contract. It should be treated as a counter offer. And what is the impact of the counter offer? It is to cancel the original offer. Hide versus wrench. Is there anything else we need to talk about in this line? Read the line, you have the question papers, just read it.
কিন্তু অজিটা বলেছিল তো already inclusive
না, ওটা already inclusive ছিল না। Yes,
Height versus range.
height versus range. You should know these things. Already March. Yes, Shadman. Is there anything specific or more that you can see in this particular line? Or do you think
If he did not hear from both, he will consider it as a
exactly? So what is he doing? He's
He
making
is considering silence as an exception.
Yes, he is making an offer and then he's imposing silence as a method of communication. Method of communication of acceptance. So in this particular situation, is he allowed to do that?
No.
Are you allowed to impose silence as a method of communication? The answer is no. That answer is binding. So you're going to first say that in relation to B's reply on June 7th, while it looks like an acceptance, it is substantially changing the terms of the contract, and therefore it is better seen as a counteroffer. Then you define counteroffer and talk about its effect. And then you move on and talk about the fact that since this is a new offer, it's a counteroffer, and he is imposing silence as a method of communication. And that is not allowed as per Feldhaus versus Meinke. And that is not allowed as per Feldhaus versus Meinke. And this could be a possible way if there were certain exceptions. There are certain exceptions to silence, but
Acceptance by conduct.
acceptance by conduct, but they are not likely to be effective in this particular situation at all. Okay, so that's one. Then we come to the next situation. The following morning, before B's letter arrived, A reads a posting on the internet which states that the price of the sand was about to fall, and he immediately sent a letter to B on June 8th. He sent an email to B that our price includes delivery. Okay, so June 8th email which says my price includes delivery. So what's happening here?
Just remember that won't be a counteroffer, right?
What? No, but at that point, this was the offer. And then there was a counter offer. And then she makes this statement. Okay? So what is the legal status of this statement? What is the statement? Okay, we have established this is an offer. We have established this is a counter offer. Now we need to know what is A's reply to this. You're checking the hashtag, no?
It's like I got a text and he is
So, what is this? This June 8th email?
Yes, he did not do, he has no knowledge about this, yeah, right?
No knowledge. Any idea?
He's making another
misinformation.
What?
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
No, information.
Where it's
Oh, it's a
where
statement of
it was
information.
ওই রকমের
My mere request for inquiry.
রিকোয়েস্ট না তো সেকেন্ড রিকোয়েস্ট রিপ্লাই করুন একটা
মনিফাই দিয়েছে নিজে থেকে জানে
ও তো জানতোই না যে এই লেটার আসছে। ও তো নিজে ইমেল করছে। ও ইন্টারনেটে পড়ছে যে
mere information misinformation ভেবে রাখা ভালো হবে
No, not
or he's changing the term of the previous offer.
So you're saying this is a counter offer? But then he doesn't know that there is.
He's making a new offer, destroying his own.
Have you guys heard of this cross offer? You don't know about cross offer? Okay. Cross offer money, say for example, I want to buy, I'm sorry, what's your name? Dhara's phone. I don't know why, maybe I found it safe, but I want to buy Dhara's phone for how much do you want to sell it for?
nominal
No. I should say for X amount of money. Okay, I want to buy it for X amount of money. And when I sent her an email stating that I want to send it, I want to sell it, I want to buy your phone for X amount of money. এখন এই email পড়ার আগে ধারা comes to me and says, Miss, I want to sell my phone for X amount of money. এখানে কি offer and acceptance হইছে? না, মানে আমি একটা অফার করছি, ও আমার অফারের কথা না জেনে আরেকটা অফার করছে। So we're both making the same offer, we're saying the same thing, the terms of both offers are the same, but we don't have knowledge of each other's offer. So there's no meeting of minds, there's no consensus ad item. So this, both of the offers are crossing each other, and cross offers do not constitute a contract. Name of the case, Tim versus Hoffman.
Cross offer was like this one
Okay.
Cannot give rise to a contract.
Yes, cross offers do not constitute a contract or does not amount to a contract. So এখানে এটা যেটা হচ্ছে যে his offer crosses with B's offer. A's offer crosses with B's offer. So we are both cross offers. There's no contract at this point. Okay, there's no acceptance at this point. We're going to deal with A's offer as a fresh new offer. এখানে একটা offer is a counter offer is a cross offer is a, so this now is a new fresh offer, £20 with delivery. That's the new fresh offer by A. Now, okay. So there was an offer, there was a counter offer. Then without knowledge of the counter offer, there was a cross offer. So cross offers, at the point, there has been no contract between A and B. But at this point, he has made this cross offer is treated as a fresh new offer. Okay? It's treated as a fresh new offer. Jetar term hoche £20 with delivery. So 25 includes the delivery price as well. All right, then what happens next? You know, the best way of doing offer and acceptance question answer is to go line by line. And sometimes you have questions like A makes an offer, then B, C, D, E, everybody comes and starts accepting or doing something with it. In that point, don't go line by line, go party by party. So deal with B first, then go with C, then go with D, because or else you'll get confused, okay? So let's move on. After that, what happened? He received the email at 11 a.m. and then posted a letter of acceptance. All right. So is this
It's according to postal once it is posted, it's an acceptance.
right?
Now, give it a reasonable and you not get it.
What a point postal keyboard.
Or the voice.
They are using the fastest email.
So it's B and accept.
Why?
Postal. It's B on a post করেছিল by post পাঠিয়েছিল
First একটা পোস্ট ছিল, তারপরে আবার একটা পোস্টে রিপ্লাই দিছে, মাঝখানে একটা ইমেল, তারপরে আবার পোস্ট, তারপরে আবার
post accepted হবে।
আচ্ছা, সেটা আমরা কিভাবে লিখবো যে since this letter basically mirrors the terms of the offer, this is an acceptance. Acceptance is the unqualified assent to all the terms of the offerer's offer. So this has been, you know, satisfied in this situation. This is a valid acceptance. However, the golden rule of acceptance is that it must be communicated. But there is an exception to this communication rule, and that is postal rule, Adams versus Linsell, which says the letter, the acceptance is communicated the moment the letter is posted. If we follow Adams versus Linsell, then at 11 a.m. there has been a valid acceptance and there is a valid contract between A and B. It is therefore next time revoking it would not be allowed because revocation cannot be done once acceptance has been done, right? Clear everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
However, postal rule is sort of like a museum piece, right? And in order to, in the case of Hentron versus Fraser, household fire versus Grant, basically, did I say something wrong? Honey? Oh,
Enron versus Fraser.
Enron versus Fraser, household fire versus Grant. What did they say? That you will only use postal rule when it is reasonable to do so. And how do we figure out whether something is reasonable to do so?
Stipulated by the website.
It's either stipulated by the owner, or the offerer, or it has been something which would give you some kind of a sense. Now, in this particular situation, one thing has been clear: when the offer has been made by post, usually an acceptance by post is also accepted and allowed. So in this particular situation, the first original offer was made by post, but the later offer, the one he is actually accepting, was made by email. It is not very clear why, instead of the fact that they have a more convenient method of communication, which is by email, why are they constantly going back to post? But assuming that the first one, there is a slight chance that they would be allowed to use the postal rule, Adam versus Winslow, at which time, 11 a.m., there will be an acceptance. Have you guys heard about this case, Manchester Diocesan?
Yes.
What does that case tell you?
It was something like that the guy wanted to sell something and he gave his email address and then his house address and a lot of stuff.
Oh, so
And the one who accepted it, his
sent it to
lawyer,
his house address, home address, instead of his office address.
he did not stipulate any specific mode.
So what are the three rules of Manchester Diocesan versus general investment? Rule number one, if the offerer specifically stipulates you have to use this method. If you use any other method, your acceptance is not valid. However, I have to be very clear, in very clear words mention, I need you to use this offer, this method, or else your acceptance is not valid. So if my offer mentions by letter only, by email only, then you have to use my method of communication. If that has not been stipulated, if I have not clearly stated you must use this method, then the second thing applies. I must use a method which is no more disadvantageous to the offerer and is not inconvenient to the offerer. So I need to use a faster method or an equally advantageous method to the one that was stipulated. Do you understand? So
we have to discuss about standing expectation.
yes, here you basically have to say that since the offer which was accepted was made by email, that is an instantaneous method of communication. If we follow Manchester Diocesan and A has not stipulated any specific method that you have to give it to me by post, then if he uses any method which is equally advantageous to email, it will be accepted. But if not, then it's unlikely. So এখানে দুই ওয়েতে এটা আর্গিউ করা যায়। একটা ওয়েতে আর্গিউ করা যায় হচ্ছে যে since the original offer was made by post, it is reasonable to use the post and finish it there. The other method of argument is going by Manchester Diocesan and saying, hold on a second, since the offer that you're accepting is by email, you should have used an equally advantageous method of communication, which you did not. So this would not be reasonable to use post here.
Basically, we to সবসময় পোস্ট করে দেব। এই তো শুধু একমাত্র ইমেল তো এটা কি can you safely assume that for B post was not, I mean post was the only possible way for him to communicate his offer?
Yes, but he emailed.
Email
email to receive করছে
email receive করছে এবং revocation আবার email করছে।
আমরা ওই সময়টা বাসায় থাকি 11 সকাল 11টা।
ও সকাল 11টায় লেটার পোস্ট করছে 12টায় ইমেল করছে।
আসলে লেখা আছে
হ্যাঁ, but এখানে দুইভাবে শোনো। One of the key ways to get marks in offer and acceptance is not discuss everything, factually analyze. Okay? So এখানে যদি তোমার দুইটা possibility থাকে তুমি দুইটা নিয়ে discuss করবা। Let me tell you how the marks are going to be. You're going to first raise the issue, okay? that, okay, we're going to talk about, okay, we're going to raise the issue that what is going on. Okay, A is posting to B, but you're going to state the law. Is this an offer or whatever it is? For each issue, you follow this. Then you factually analyze. And a factual analysis in relation to offer and acceptance is where you gain marks. This part. So you have to constantly factually analyze. B কাছে যদি এর email address থেকেই থাকে, then why is he constantly using post? Was this something which was agreed between the parties? Was it because they wanted a specific documentary trail? Was it because that they priorly, whenever they have dealt in previous course of dealing, they have always used letter? We don't know. The facts are inconclusive. So we cannot conclusively determine whether it is reasonable to use the post or not. However, there are two possible ways of seeing it. One, original offer by post, so reasonable to use post. Number two, using Manchester diocese, since the immediate mail was by email, it should be used as equally advantageous method should have been used in relation to the acceptance. Okay, so whatever rule you follow, then you move on to the next point. What happened next? He got onto the internet and he read that sand prices are supposed to fall. And having considered the matter, he said, he sent an email to A stating, I decline your offer. Okay?
Two possible ways to decline that are acceptance. You choose the follow.
এখানে
Follows up the acceptance.
এখানে যদি acceptance হয়ে যায়, right? And তোমার এটা revocation হবে নাকি হবে না এটা নিয়ে you have an issue because revocation can only be done once before acceptance. So এখানে revocation নিয়ে একটা issue আছে। তুমি দুইটা জিনিসই ডিসকাস করবা। তারপর তোমার যেটা বেটার মনে হয়, তোমার যেটা easier মনে হয়, you write that. You will say যে it could be reasonable, it couldn't be reasonable. তুমি যদি একটু লিখে ছেড়ে দাও না because the original post letter was offer was by post, and that's why this should be treated as reasonable to use the postal rule. That's enough. That you get marks. But if you use Manchester diaphragm, you would be able to get better marks. Sure. Keep it.
Better marks.
Better marks কিভাবে পাওয়া যাবে? তোমার কোশ্চেন ছিল যে আমি যদি দুইটাই লিখি তাহলে আমি কোনটা লাস্টে লিখব? What you can do is you can write both and then just come to one conclusion that this is a better idea. Okay? Because it's not that simple to gain marks in contract. You can't just write this is an offer and blah, that's it. You get 25 out of 25 or 18 out of 25. You have to discuss. You have to think like a lawyer. So that's where this comes in. Last issue, decline of this. This was revoked. Can you revoke a posted acceptance?
No.
By a faster method?
No.
No? But
It's already accepted.
If we consider Aaron versus Graves of James, but if we consider Manchester Pearson versus Jeddah investment, there's no acceptance. So yes, you can.
There's no acceptance in the first.
Yeah, that's good. But have you guys ever heard of this case?
Done.
What does this case say? Asha, can you revoke a posted acceptance by a faster method? Can you revoke posted
It depends
acceptance?
on whether, it depends on what he said, whether.
No, it doesn't depend on that. There is one case called Dunmer versus Alexander. The other one, this is a Scottish case. And there is another one, A2Z Bazaar versus Ministry of Agriculture. Hara, what does that mean? What does that case say? Do you know? This is a South African case. Please, everyone, pay a little bit of attention to this. This is very important because it's constantly coming in your exams. And if you don't know about it, you should know about it, okay? what does this two case say? They say usually there is a rule that if I post the letter, the moment the letter is posted, acceptance is communicated. However, obviously, this day and age is very difficult because we have a lot of faster method of communication. So you'll always see in your case or in your facts that there has been a posted acceptance and then there has been a revocation by a faster method. Now, the rule is this revocation allowed or not? That's the question. Now, there is no English authority. English law has never provided a specific authority about it. That's why we look into Dunmore versus Alexander and A to Z Bazaar. Dunmore versus Alexander says, yes, there can be a revocation by faster method. And A to Z Bazaar versus Ministry of Agriculture says, no, there would not be any, it wouldn't be possible because acceptance is done the moment the letter is posted.
Is there a New Zealand case too?
Yes, when King versus Arndt. So you know these. Okay.
We went through the same side.
We're both on the same page.
Web pages, you're not, but you just know these cases, okay?
Yes.
So at least these two cases, even if you don't want to remember King versus Arndt because it's got a slightly difficult spelling, that's fine. But you need to know what both of them are saying. Now, English law doesn't have any specific authority. So feel free to say, hey, there should be an acceptance in this situation, and I support Dunmore versus Alexander, because in this day and age, the entire idea of postal rule in itself is a museum piece. So why should we allow that? Because this would lead to commercial inconvenience. Commercial transactionary would inconvenience for them. Or you can say that since we're applying Adam versus Lindsay, why should we allow revocation when this will be contrary to the rule of revocation? Whichever one you decide, you provide an argument that this is why I am doing so. And I can also give you a little bit of commentary from Professor Hudson. This is not a law case, it's a commentator. Are you raising your hand? Yes, tell me. Can a defendant type plaintiff type? Can a claimant and defendant touch? You can have claimant touch A and defendant touch B. 3. This is your first contract law class. Yeah. Yes, but we may must exam the show.
This upcoming
And in contract. Okay. Yeah, whatever
Was it
state he
giant?
is in, but he's still sitting for contract exam. Okay, just do classes, not only my classes, because every contract class that you can get, so that you know what's going on. Okay, because contract law, পড়তে হবে কিন্তু এরকম আমি জানি সবাই বলে contract law is easy, but you still have to read it at least a bit.
People flag it criminal, not in capital.
People flunk in contract as well. People flunk in contract. Huh? খুব কম করে, but করে.
Consider my content you are sure that you're going to get 4 questions.
Yeah, that is one thing. What is happening as criminal is easier in one sense that technicality, understand what the but the questioning pattern is a little unpredictable. But contract marks in the sense that getting 50-50 above is a little difficult. Yes, but if you do good in your first year exams,
It's a moral boost.
Huh?
It's a moral boost.
It's a moral boost. It's also that your diploma or certificate that's going to have a good higher rate merit rating. Then you get better chances of, like on a third year wait for it. Second year they want to transfer. So they will be able to get into better universities if they have better marks in first years. But that doesn't mean just commit suicide and start doing, like because it doesn't guarantee your QLD, but still, it's good to do good in it. And they do take into account with their mistake. If you're getting good marks, merit marks, or PPTC application, they will account. They wouldn't first say see your marks, but wallet আর আপনার marks দেখি না, but they have your student number. They can get your access to your records from the university fund. So that's what they do usually before they call it. So that's revocation of acceptance, and এখানে যেটার উপরে আপনি ফলো করেন এটা conclusionটা কি হতে পারে, it depends on which thing you choose to follow. If you choose to follow, no, but then you have to provide one conclusion why you're using one of them, or you can just leave it to the discretion of the judge.
Isn't that the safer option?
Yeah, that is a safer option, but they sometimes like to see your opinion as well. Okay, so offer and acceptance is something that you constantly need to practice, and this is something that you need to work on. And we are going to constantly solve questions from now onwards. So whenever you see my class, please bring a question paper with you so that we know what to do. I was asking around last class, and they said that they're kind of weak in answering offer and acceptance. And I think this was a productive class because you got to know quite a few things that you didn't know. So if you keep on solving questions like this, it will be easier for you. So next class as well, we'll continue solving questions. If you have any specific topic that you don't want to, you don't understand, you don't know how to go on answering it, just write on my when there is a comment section in your page. You can just write a comment that Miss, please do this or please do that, and I'll specifically do that. Okay. I think terms is another chapter that you need to do questions in, but I was hoping to do a couple of different offer and acceptance questions so that you have an idea over it all. Okay, so next class we'll continue on this aspect, and with that note, I'm going to stop broadcasting.
Yes, what is the threshold of match?